Billy back here, Broship of the Nerds, and I wanted to talk to you guys about my trip last year. After leaving New York, my friends and I, there were three of us, we went to a Airbnb and we ended up over in Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween week. Now were there for like 3 days. We were told by some people you could see it all in a day, that it was a very walkable city, but I'm going to say that is wrong. And the reason I'm going to say that is wrong is because if you're an average person, then yes, you might be able to do it in a day, but if you're really into Halloween, you need more time than just a day. Uh, so my experience was awesome. Here's my overall review of Salem. Is it crowded? Yeah, it's crowded, but it's not as bad as what we thought it was going to be. Um, one issue they had some people reenacting hocus pocus scenes, I guess, and they ended up actually destroying a grave or, causing damage to a grave. So be respectful whenever you go there and be a little bit patient. That goes a long ways. There were places where, you know, you would have so many people in the building and you would be in line to get in, and two people would leave and they would let two more enter, that sort of thing. So they would check out how many people were in your group and they would have like a maximum capacity. Let's say it was 20 people for this business. So as soon as that group left, if you had a group of three and three left, you were good to go, that sort of thing. So they would keep a head count basically of how many people were in there in order to prevent stuff. And they would tell you things like one business we went to was like, hey, don't be on your phone because you might bump into people. And there was a lot of breakables in that particular shop. And one item I did get in that shop, check out this. I normally don't show what I got, but I love this. I have not used it yet because I'm saving it for like, a special occasion or something. But there's like these little jewels in it, and it just is incredible. It screamed me. They wrapped it for me, so it traveled all the way from Salem back to Illinois, and that was a really cool item I got there. And I love that store. I can't tell you the name of it because I forgot, but okay. So we got there one night. We What happened was we got to our place. We got it was still daylight. We got everything put away, and we were just going on this trip, right? We were probably in the car for almost 30 hours, to 30 to 40 hours. I'm going to say more like 40, yeah, over 40 hours for this entire trip because we went to places where there was a lot of like distance and time in between. So the first night we got to our Airbnb. Like I said, we got everything unpacked, not unpacked, but you know what I mean. We got everything put in, everything out of the vehicle, and got our setup going. And then we decided, look, why don't we go see what Salem's like? So instead of driving and having to worry about parking, we just went ahead and took an Uber that first night to get it to be able to kind of scout it. And we went to the first place we went to was called Die with Your Boots On, and I took my friend is an excellent photographer and he took a lot of pictures which I still have to put in the get a photo book for, but there's about 1,000 between the Gettysburg Halloween Parade, New York, and everything we did in Salem. Cool costumes, by the way. Anyways, I get sidetracked. I've had coffee. I'm hyper. Let's go. We get there that night. Die with your boots on. A very cool, unique store. They had really cool like neon lighting. They had a lot of stuff there. The clothes, souvenirs, what just that kind of thing. But it was so unique, and I remember just walking in there and thinking it set the tone for what this trip was going to be to Salem. Right? I've been talking about this. My dad was telling me since I had read The Crucible my junior year of high school. So that was just like something I've been talking about since 2008. So this was a dream trip for me, right? So we went to Die with Your Boots On, which was outside of the Witch City Mall, and then we went to a record store where I got the Wednesday uh, vinyl, and that is here with me. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Wednesday vinyl. It has two disc, and it says here double LP, purple goth with smoky shadow, purple and black covered vinyl, and then gatefold printed inner sleeves. And this is an official Wednesday MGM Netflix thing. And it has the music from the show, which is my favorite show, as you can tell behind me with the Wednesday posters, and my whole living room is basically Wednesday. in my calendar, of course, which I got in New York. Right now we're in July. But yeah, so we went there. I got my record. I got my, I think, oh, I also got a shirt that says, I survived Salem in October. And we also went into the Witch City Mall where I got this cup, 1692 Witch City, Salem, Massachusetts. There were long lines for that store to check out, but the lady was so pleasant, the lady running it, and she had really great sense of humor. I will definitely go back to that place. She was just full of energy, and you could tell it was a long day and people were getting impatient. We had a guy in front of us that was kind of like really rude, and once he left, we made some jokes and stuff and just sort of lightened the mood, and she really liked us because of that. And then we also got this uh, I also got this magnet. It says Salem, Massachusetts, established in 1626. I believe it was there that I got it, but it just reminded me of like Halloween Town and that sort of thing. And my love for Halloween, as you can tell, is just off the charts. This place will be decorated like crazy, as I am planning to have friends over for Halloween, and we're going to be decorating from scratch. So I'm going to clear this place up and make it kind of a blank slate for the decorating. Okay, so that was our first night, and we got back to our Airbnb, and we ate like a really late lunch slash early dinner. It was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, so it was like 9 at night, and I was pretty hungry. And I asked my buddy if he was, and he said yes. So I ordered a pizza, which my other friend thought we were joking, and then the pizza arrived, and then they ate a couple of pieces too, so they were hungry as well. But all in all, that was our first night. Great experience, and there were a lot of street vendors out there. There was like a Salem outdoor marketplace where you could go up to different tables and buy things. Now we really didn't check it out because it was sort of that thing where you show up and you're like, oh my god, there's this, there's this, there's this, and you want to see everything. So we definitely walked a lot and checked out some stuff, and we decided, okay, let's go to bed. We have 2 more full days ahead of us in Salem. So our second day, there was a museum, and the reason we wanted to go there, yes, it had art and stuff, but there was a bat exhibit. Now, with the bats, it was daytime, so they were asleep, and they had a sign that says, do not disturb the bats. So I crawled up underneath and watched the bats. I didn't make any noise. I stayed silent, but just to see them up close sleeping, and it was dark, but there was like nightlight kind of things in there, and it was just cool to see them up close like that. And I would love to be there at night when they're awake and active. It was just a fun little exhibit. Now the museum itself, it was really unique and cool because, and I'm going to say that a lot, but it was because there was a downstairs area that had a cafe. So they had like coffee and snacks you could buy while you were waiting. So after we looked around at some art, pottery, that sort of thing, we were downstairs and we noticed there was a witch thing upstairs you could see. So we went up there and talked to them about it. They said, hey, you have to get a reservation. All you do is you go on this little app and we'll save your spot and it'll tell you when your spot's ready. So we put in for a group of 3 and we were like, we weren't down the list too far, but it was going to be like 30 minutes roughly. So we went downstairs. I got a coffee. My friends got some drinks. We got a little snack, sat around and just sort of chatted for a while. And then we got a notification on my friend's phone who had made the reservation that, hey, your spot's up. So we went upstairs, told them, they let us in. They had artifacts from the families of the victims of the witch trials. And reading about it's one thing, but seeing it in person is just fantastic, right? Like they had different items that were actually used by the families and would have been in their houses at the time, and just sort of trying to put yourself in what that would have been like, the paranoia, the accusations, all of that. And that was really awesome. So we walked around there and everything, and this may be out of order. They had, and I won't be able to tell you everything we saw, they had a pop-up shop that had like Salem items. So I bought the book Hocus Pocus, and it was Hocus Pocus and Hocus Pocus 2. It doesn't get any more Salem than that, right? Buying Hocus Pocus in Salem. So I got that book. By the way, if you have not read, the first one, follows the first film, but the second one is so good. It was like the kids of the original characters of the first film, and it's incredible. And the movie was good on Disney Plus. Don't get me wrong, but this was just like next level. I liked this story better than the original because of the characters in the books. And that's all I'm going to say without spoiling what way the story goes, but it is awesome. And the stakes are higher in the story, and I think you'll enjoy it if you read it. So we saw that, and there, what we met a family from Spain, and they said they were here to experience an American Halloween because over there they did Day of the Dead, but they don't do Halloween like we do here in America, or the United States, I should say. So they came over here to get a United States Halloween experience. And we were talking to them about Spain and the differences and stuff as we were in line for a restaurant. I will give you this tip: if you want to eat at 6, be there by 4:35. There is a long wait, and I recommend carrying water and snacks on you because you may have to wait an hour, hour and a half to get seated in a restaurant. We got seated in this restaurant, and we were talking about Salem, and these two girls next to us, I think they were sisters. One of them came over to me and say, "Hey, I overheard you talking about Salem. They have an app called Haunted Happenings, and it'll tell you like what's available, and it'll give you notifications when things are full, like the parking garage, and it'll give you like updates on things like what's sold out, what roads are closed, that sort of thing." So we downloaded that night one and used that the whole weekend. And by the way, parking, we were able to park, and it's like an hourly rate, but if you get there really late, it goes up. It'll be like, instead of so much an hour, it'll be like $50 to park for the day, or 25, something like that. So you want to get there, I would say, at a decent time. If you wait until evening, I would say you're better off getting an Uber because it's just better that way. So we looked around. There were a lot of stores on day two. It was sort of a shopping day for us. And we finally made it to Pickering Wharf, which was the ocean front. We had never been to, the two of us, my buddy and I, one of our friends had, but the other two of us had never been to the ocean. They had this lighthouse you could walk up to, and there was like a little gap you had to cross, though, which my friend was not comfortable because it was water on either side, although it was a very narrow area. So we were fine. So we walked up and got our picture with the lighthouse, and we checked out the ocean, got food, which the people working there were dressed as Kim. There was one waitress dressed as Kim Possible, and then the guy was dressed as Ron Stopple. It was awesome. And we ate there, went to a candy shop, and just walked around the area. We didn't have time to tour the House of Seven Gables, but we did at least see it. And I finally have the book that my friend gave me because she's wanting to go back and check it out. So that's a plan, is for us to go check out that, because we're planning on going back this year. And I will give you, if we do go, I will give you an updated video on my trip to the East Coast in 2024. That's how much I loved it. Most people want to retire and go to Florida. I would rather go to Salem. I loved it out there. A lot of shops and everything. And we did a haunted house that had, it was part of the Witch City Mall, but it had no actors. It was all done with um, like animatronics stuff. That was pretty cool. There were countless stores that I cannot name off the top of my head, but there was one that had an apple, like it had the witch and it had the apple from Snow White. So my friend and I act like we were taking a bite out of it, and I sent that to my grandma, and she immediately replied with, "Don't you eat that apple." And it was just fun. There's something magical in the air in Salem at Halloween time. And that day, it was the day before Halloween. This was on the 30th. It was cool, but comfortable. It was raining, but it wasn't like a cold rain, and there was no breeze, so it was nice. And we saw the witch statue, the teenage witch statue, and we got pictures with that. Uh, so that evening, whenever we made it back and we got done for the day, I went online to look at the witch house, and they said tickets would go on sale at 8 a.m. So the next morning, I got up at like 7 something And as soon as 8 o'clock hit, I ordered us tickets, 3 tickets for the Witch House. And then I think within an hour it had sold out. So we got very lucky. We went to the Witch City House on Halloween in Salem. Sometimes I have to stop and like appreciate the things I get to do. Guys, it was worth the hype and the wait. Um, there were people there that you could ask questions to, and there was like a little gift shop that you could go to first. And I don't think I got anything at the witch house. I looked around and I didn't see anything that I absolutely had to have at that point. But I didn't want to carry stuff around on Halloween all day either. That was part of it. And we went there. Before we went there, and we met some really cool people that were part of like the environmental effort. Shout out to them guys. They were awesome to talk to. We got some pictures with them and they're cool people. Um, Before we went there, we had the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had in my life. You could get breakfast sandwiches as either like bagels, wraps, whatever. I ended up getting a wrap and it wasn't real heavy sitting and great coffee. And they were quick. I mean, that place was packed because it was Halloween morning, but they were fast. We got our food, we ate, we made it to the house in time. Uh, and it was like we were in the house for maybe 15 minutes, 15, 20, and we got pictures outside of the house. It's absolutely just incredible because if I'm not mistaken, it's the last building tied to it. We got to see the witch memorial for the victims of the trials, and they had like a nice memorial for the victims. And I met one of the descendants of the victims when we were in that restaurant I had talked about the day prior, and he was there for the first time to see the memorial. Um, didn't get to chat a long time as we were in line for the bathroom, but we chatted for a brief minute, and that place was awesome. The memorial. What else did we do? Halloween. We went and went and went. My buddy, his camera was nonstop. I went in to get a coffee in the middle of the day and he took a lot of pictures and got so many cool costume pictures. And I'm glad that he printed them for me because there were a lot that I missed as I was in line for the coffee shop. Long lines, yes, you're going to wait 20 to 30 minutes for some things, but be patient. Allow for multiple days if you're a big Halloween fan. Do not rush. Allow at least I'm going to say 3 days because, and the reason I'm saying that, if you're a big Halloween fan, you need at least 3 days. I could spend 5 days to a week there for everything I would like to do. But Halloween, we dressed up. We got there early, and there was an older lady walking her dog that morning, and my friend goes, "Hey, look, it's a waddling troll," and we could not stop laughing. It was awful. There was also a Karen who she got mad because we were using a crosswalk. The guy that was sitting, his vehicle was sitting by the crosswalk, waited for us. He was cool. The lady behind was honking her horn, getting mad, and I just said, "Happy Halloween to you too," and everyone started laughing. But because I like to, with my customer service experience, reply to rudeness with kindness because to me that's just like the best way to be. So, anyways, having said that, we started so early because we wanted to get a parking spot cheaper and get more out of the day, but we went and went and went. What I mean by that, we walked so much. We found some cool street performers and we took a brief rest period. But honestly, what we should have done is we should have started later and just took an Uber there. That way we wouldn't have to worry about parking because it would have came out to about the same price. But we walked a lot, saw the street performers. They were really incredible, doing standing backflips, dancing. But we should have taken a longer rest period because it was probably 3 or 4 in the evening. We called it because we were just so worn out and walked so much. So the one thing we missed that we want to go back to on Halloween in Salem, they do a fireworks show out by the ocean or close to that area, I believe, where they have a band and then they do fireworks. So the plan is for us to go back this year, but start out later and see the fireworks. When you're in Salem, you can get Salem Witch City hoodies for a reasonable rate in variety of colors. You can get coffee cups. You can get, I got some Wednesday. I think I got a Wednesday sticker for my car, and you can just get so many incredible things. So I would say take your time, be a little bit patient, and you're going to have a pleasant experience. Other tips: know where the restrooms are. There are porta potties, or Johnny on the spots, whatever you want to call them. There are porta potties there. A lot of businesses, if you're a paying customer, they'll allow you to use your bathroom, but a lot of times they have a code that you have to get in order to use them. And because of how many people are there, it's hard for them to maintain and keep clean. So I actually don't blame them. So know where the porta potties and the bathrooms are before you start your adventure for the day. That way you have a place to go to the bathroom at. Long lines. I recommend packing things like crackers or granola bars. That way, if you're desperately hungry and they tell you, hey, it's going to be an hour, hour and a half for your table, go ahead and snack a little bit to hold you over until you get to that meal time. And it's not in a bad way that there are lines. It's an exciting feeling in the air at Halloween time. But things you can do: haunted houses, a lot of them. We only did one, but we would like to go to legit ones. Ghost tours. I think it would be incredible to go to a ghost tour in Salem. That is something on the agenda for this year. There's a trolley ride you can take. There is a boat ride you can take to see different lighthouses in the area. That would be incredible. Shopping, shop till you drop. Literally, there are so many places to go shopping. If you're going to stay in the area, I would say book about a year in advance. The rates do go up. We saw motels going for, or hotels going for $1,000 per night. So I recommend going the Verbo or Airbnb route and finding something 20 to 30 minutes away, as you will not be paying an arm and a leg. If you try to stay in Salem, it is going to be outrageously high because of the demand. And that's just how it goes, right? Supply and demand. High demand, low supply for Airbnbs and Verbos in Salem itself. But if you go to, I think we were like 20 or 30 minutes away, and we paid half the price, if not cheaper. So I recommend going that route. Um, what else? If you want to pay less on parking, get there early. If you uh, don't want to pay a lot for parking, but you want to get there later, use a Uber. What else? You're gonna have fun. If it's on your bucket list, go see it. Don't worry about the crowds. Just allow multiple days, and I would say break down the town a section at a time. We did not get to the um, houses from Hocus Pocus, but we could have walked past some of those buildings and not realized it because we were so much a deer in the headlights. Ooh, that, or squirrel brain. So this time we're going to be a little bit more organized and allow even more time. I think we're going to do like 5 days for Salem, 4 to 5, I would say. And the goal is to make it for Halloween fireworks. So that is my review of Salem for 2023. It was incredible. The weather was nice. Halloween Day was actually the worst weather because yes, it was clear, but the wind was so cold it went right through you. I wore my costume, which was like demon horns or whatever, and I had a coat on and I was still freezing. So I will say make sure you pack clothes at that time of the year for the East Coast for both spring and fall/winter. So you want to have light stuff and you want to have hoodies and long sleeve shirts or sweatshirts because it can get cold. The coolest part of Salem: the atmosphere, the costumes, and the stores cater to Halloween. 100% worth it to go there for Halloween. I've seen mixed reviews online like Reddit telling you not to go in October. Ignore it. Just know there are going to be crowds, there are going to be lines, but it is worth the wait. It is worth being patient for. There was also a really cool collectible store, and if I'm not mistaken, I got my Wednesday lunchbox. Let me show you guys that really quick. I'll be right back. Here we go. I picked up a Wednesday lunchbox collectible. Now, the front has Wednesday at the Raven. Here we go. All right, so here's the Wednesday lunchbox. That's the front. The top has her doing a dance to Goo Goo Muck. The side has her dancing to the Goo Goo Muck, and the dance continues on the other side. The back, however, has her coming downstairs in the dress she wore to the Raven. And then when you open this, which I'm going to be very careful because they only made so many of these. When you open this, you have a thermos. It says Wednesday, and then on this side you have her doing the Goo Goo Muck again. An incredible lunchbox. It wasn't overly priced, if I recall correctly, but it was a reasonable rate. It was a reasonable price for this, as I would call myself a mega fan. It is my favorite show. Wednesday is to me the most relatable character in pop culture history. So that was purchased in Salem, and I have one more item to show you, and this was purchased in the same store. As I went on a tear of Wednesday when I was out east, because that is, like I said, my favorite show of all time. I'd put Stranger Things second. Okay, the last item I got for Wednesday and that I have in the room, the doll. So Living Dead dolls came out with a line of dolls from different shows and movies. I'm trying to get rid of the glare there. So there it is. That's the siding, and then Wednesday and Thing. Well, LDD presents Wednesday. I had to look up what it is. It's Living Dead dolls. They actually make multiple dolls you can get, like Ghostface, and you'll have to go on their website. They have a variety of Addams Family characters. I've seen one with Fester and Cousin It, and it's incredible. And this one wasn't too bad either. I mean, I don't remember what I gave for it, but I love it. It's my favorite. So yeah, Salem has a lot of stuff, and there were so many places that had we have had more time, I think we would have walked a little bit less and just spent more time in one area of the town. I would say you could spend a day at the ocean front, see the House of Seven Gables, get a tour of that, eat some lunch, walk around the shops, and call it a day. I really think you could. You could spend a whole day there just enjoying the ocean front. And we were kind of rushing through, but our plan is to go back, just two of us this time, and visit places we missed and spend more time and not walking past the same place 10 times as we were hurrying and not having any sort of schedule minus the fireworks on Halloween night in Salem. But guys, that is my review of Salem. I really think you'll enjoy it. Leave me a comment. What is your favorite thing about Halloween? What would you like to see in Salem? Or if you've been, let me know what your favorite parts of it were. And like I said, I try to give you the pros and cons of to be how do I word this? Trying to give you the pros and cons or the good, the bad of places I've traveled to. Mostly good though. I would say that I enjoy the places I've traveled to, and I just want to give you guys fair warning and not like, you know, tell you, oh, everything's perfect. Because, traveling, you have to plan and everything, and I'm trying to give you a heads up. So yeah, I would say Salem is the best place I have ever visited in my life. And I'll leave it at that. I'll let you make your own opinion, but go there, check it out. It's the closest thing besides Oregon, where Halloween Town actually is, obviously. But it is a real life Halloween Town year round. And at Christmas time, I've seen pictures. Nocturne, I believe is the name of the place in Salem. Shout out to you. You have an incredible store, but they have Krampus stuff at Christmas time and incredible T-shirts. I picked up one of those stores. I might have been Nocturne. I picked up an Edgar Allan Poe shirt that says the Black Cat and a few other things. But that's all I have for today. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you will check out Salem or at least do some research on it. It's incredible. Have a good one.